Welcome to Legal Dilemmas, where you will find clear, concise legal advice. Today we're going to summarise the meaning of a restraining order. So Savina, please can you explain what a restraining order is?
Absolutely, Brenda. So a restraining order is meant to prevent and protect someone from harm. It's usually applied for by the Crown Prosecution Service in cases of assault, abuse, stalking, harassment. During legal proceedings, so they can apply for it on conviction or even on an acquittal if they think that there's quite a lot of abuse. So while it hasn't been made out within the legal proceedings, they can still apply for a restraining order. And it's really on a case-by-case basis, Brenda.
Okay, so can an individual apply for a restraining order?
No, unfortunately, a restraining order is not something that people can apply for. It's only an order that the Crown Prosecution Service can apply for on your behalf. If you want to apply for an order, then you have to go through the civil courts, through the family court in particular. And as we've already discussed, please have a look at our videos on, non-molestation order injunctions.
Okay, can you give examples of the types of conduct that would lead to the CPS applying for a restraining order?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, part of my background is criminal law. So some of the examples that I dealt with at the police station is, for example, where someone's been infatuated with another party, for example, constantly sending them text messages, flowers, love letters, bombarding them with presents. That itself constitutes a type of harassment and stalking, following them on social media, Brenda. And if that conduct causes a fear of a violence within the recipient, so the person who is, the person receiving the flowers, the text messages, and the social media posts.
Okay, so how do the court decide on whether to make an order or not?
Well, the court will consider the views, obviously, of the person who seeks the protection. So the police would have taken a statement from the person who said that they've been experiencing the harassment or the stalking. And that statement will form their evidence and will be put before the court. The court has to come to a conclusion where they are protecting the victim, if that's what the victim is saying. But they have to decide that it is proportionate to the harm which they are seeking to protect. Because remember, a restraining order is similar to a order that you can get through the family courts, will restrict people's movement. So it would say the same as, a non-molestation order, that they can't make any contact with that person directly or indirectly. They can't come within a certain radius of their property or their workplace. And so forth. But I mean, essentially, a defence lawyer needs to be given sufficient notice of the CPS's intention to apply for a restraining order. It's not something that they can just spring on the day, because they need to file the appropriate papers within the criminal proceedings. So the person can either contest it or agree to it and seek some sort of variation to what the CPS are proposing, Brenda.
Okay, thank you. Finally, how long will it last for?
Well, it depends. I mean, the shortest ones I've had have been 12 months. The longest I've had is 3 years within, the magistrate's court. That said, it can be for 6 months. Minimum period, but invariably, if you're a victim or the recipient of this stalking and harassment, you're going to want it for a longer period than a shorter period. And obviously, as you know, the court are going to take into account the views of the person who is seeking protection. Inevitably, the person against whom the order is being made can apply for the order to be varied or discharged.
Okay, hopefully that's helped you. You've probably heard of cases in the press where celebrities are being harassed and stalked, and there's always a report normally at the end of any case where there's been an acquittal or a conviction that a restraining order has been granted and the person has received protection. But the distinction here is that if you want to apply for protection, you need to apply for a non-molestation and occupation order. And if you seek protection within criminal proceedings, then you can request the CPS on your behalf to apply for a restraining order. Hopefully that summarises the position and you have found this helpful. Please like, subscribe and share this video. Ensure you have your notifications turned on to hear more great legal content.